For those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're going to get to the other stuff in a minute, but what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So before we do anything else, vibe. See, you done fucked up and clicked on some Trier shit this time. And you ain't got to do nothing. You better not say nothing. All you gotta do is open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. One time. Everything is vibration. So as you feel that beat hit you, and you start moving in perfect rhythm, yeah, we just might start vibrating at the same frequency. And shout out to my man's Ink for hitting me with that gangster shit. You can't see me. I know you think you hear me, but it ain't that. Nah. You gotta feel me. I'm that Jones in your bone. Fuck you think this is? Yeah. Gangsters love astrology too. This one does. What it was. Y'all already know who it is, and if not, I can't tell you. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Yourself, and this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I had a whole little monologue set up where I was gonna be laughing and playing and doing all kinds of goofy shit, but when I got to thinking about it, I know the people with this placement, patience ain't they strong suit, so I might as well just get right to work. And in this case, we talking hard work, cause this right here, this a little something about those people that have Saturn and Aries in their natal chart. And see, before I even go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Saturn. I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about what the sign of Aries is actually all about. And then we're going to bring it to a culmination and eventually a climax. And fortunately for you, that's my forte. So, without wasting any more time, let's get this thing cracking. So, Saturn. Daddy Saturn. Well, if you didn't know by now, this is the resident disciplinarian and taskmaster of the zodiac. And anytime you fucking with Saturn, it ain't gonna make shit easy at all. As a matter of fact, being the ruler of the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house of the astrological chart, it's always going to be about taking the necessary steps and putting the work in if you ever want to see tangible results. You see, it's like that priceless message of Jesus Christ himself. If Jupiter is going to feed you a fish and bless you for a day, that's cool. But Saturn is going to teach you to fish by putting you through some shit, and you'll never be hungry again. See, I don't think you hear me though. When I was a child and I thought like a child and I was embroiled in my childish ways, I had a deep fear of Saturn. Saturn represents discipline, hardships, hard work, mastery. And my little old 5th house Pisces moon wasn't trying to hear that, y'all. But my 2nd house Saturn in Sagittarius, that square to that, it has something else to say. And that square right there, it's had everything to do with how my spirituality plays out. And I went from being the motherfucker that has a complete lack of faith to being the one that speaks on their faith to thousands of people on a daily basis. Saturn's a motherfucker. Hey, y'all these days be talking about pressure. Oh, I'm pressure, this pressure. Nah. You ain't pressure and that ain't pressure. Saturn is pressure. And pressure will do 2 things. It's either gonna bust your pipe or make a diamond out of you. Or it could do both. But either way, man, it's going to be a life-changing experience. And Saturn also co-rules the sign of Aquarius in the 11th house of the astrological chart. And that says that it's okay to want to rule the world as long as you're putting the work in. At least that's what my opinion is. And Saturn rules over time in all of its usefulness and all of its limitations. And when you look at that from a human aspect, that means it rules over age and old age and all the lessons that could teach us. And wherever Saturn shows up in our chart, it shows where we feel most restricted. It shows where we have obligations. It shows where we see fears. It shows where we might hold. See, let me tell y'all something before I even go any further. At the time of this recording, we have Mercury retrograde in Libra and it's conjunct my ascendant. So any fuck ups that I have going on, I'm blaming it on that and I ain't running it back. I'm just going to keep rolling. Okay. It's Mercury's fault. Anyway, man, Saturn shows where we feel most restricted, shows where we have obligations, where we have fears. It shows where we might be holding ourselves back a little bit or where the universe might be holding us back a little bit so we can catch up on some karma. And, the sign placement of Saturn, this shows the type of energy that's connected with our feelings of obligation. And it's also going to show the type of energy that we're going to have to work just a little bit harder in order to access. But once we get there, we can have mastery. And I mean true mastery. Now, the house placement of Saturn, this is going to show areas of life that we feel restricted in and where we're going to have to work a little bit harder in to obtain the things that are coming to us. But once we get them, we got them. Now, the aspects of Saturn, this is going to show the most direct involvement of other areas of life with feelings of responsibility. Now, I always tell y'all, every 28 to 32 years, Saturn transverses the whole zodiac and comes back to the place it was at the moment of your birth. And that signifies that Saturn return. And that's going to signify the beginning and ending of some karmic cycles in our life. And oftentimes we're going to see a lot of tumultuous experiences and it's feeling like the universe is just putting pressure on us, putting more pressure on us, trying to see if that diamond is going to bust up out of there. But there's also going to be other times where we see restrictions get eased up. It just depends on where you are in life. And it also depends on what other aspects you have going on with your Saturn return, because that's always something to be taken into consideration. All right. And so the sign of Aries, this is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the ruler of the 1st house and it's ruled by Mars. It rules over the head. Its symbol is the ram and its mantra is I am. And this is most definitely cardinal fire, y'all. And this energy likes to be first in all things. And that's because Aries is the leader of the pack and it's always first in line to get shit cracking, man. But actually seeing shit through to completion, that's a whole different story, man, because this energy right here, it prefers to initiate rather than to complete. And it's all about rallying the troops and heading headfirst into battle, man. And this isn't shy or timid energy. No, it's bold and in your grill. It's pioneering and it's the epitome of strength and competitiveness. And wherever Aries shows up in the chart, it's going to bring a jolt of energy and a whole bunch of dynamism, man. And it can really bring about the dawning of a new day if you allow it to. But it can also cause a lot of conflict too. This headstrong. Headstrong. So now we taking Saturn and we putting Saturn in Aries. Hey, man. So you should know already that this one is a motherfucker because with Saturn being exalted in Libra, that means that it's at its fall here in Aries. And what that basically means is that it really has an extremely difficult time functioning in a healthy way right here. Because what this ultimately represents is like a cardinal clash of wills. Because here you have Saturn, who represents discipline, hard work, hardships, patience, playing the long game, having to mix with Aries, who represents passion, aggression, and immediate action. And so, hey, if you can look at it from a positive point of view, then what you're going to get are the leaders of tomorrow, the people that are really tasked with leading the world into the future and really doing it with responsibility and confidence and having all the willpower and energy that it needs that we need in order to really get things done. But the problem is these motherfuckers right here have a deep fear of being stopped or opposed, and their will is so motherfucking strong that they kind of tend to end up striking out aggressively in attempts to avoid that situation. But that don't help either, because their every way of interaction kind of tends to breed conflict and misunderstandings. And then plus their whole manner of being is so fucking self-justifying and retiring that they're going to have to work just a little bit harder than everybody else at developing rhythm and cadence and self-reliance. Because, truth be told, they got bad timing. Like, their shit is way off. And it's only going to get better when they develop a better sense of their own abilities and learn how to depersonalize experiences that they're having somewhat. Because, oh man, in time, as they grow and mature, they'll probably be able to channel all that savage energy into something positive. But it's going to take work. And there's going to be a lot of conflict first. I'm telling you now, especially with authority figures right here. Okay. And in that time that they work that out, if they can just learn how to, channel that shit into one single goal, they're unstoppable. I mean, they're completely unstoppable. And, they're just going to have to learn how to practice some self-restraint too, and realize that all that energy right there, it could really wreak havoc on the whole world if they don't learn how to control themselves. Because, it's been said that Aries Saturn people are like ticking time bombs that are just waiting to explode. And the only thing that's preventing them from doing so is their own immense willpower and ruthless ambition, because they tend to live their life on the edge of disaster. But that's really how they prefer it, because living life like there's no turning back means that they have to defeat anything or anybody that dares to stand in their way head on. And they pretty much feel like it's their destiny just to do that, man. To just knock down anything that dares to stop them that's in their path, man. And when you take all of that into consideration, hey, man, it really has kind of made them end up being very, very strict with themselves. And it's caused this little inner conflict to pop up between their obligations to keep themselves tightly wound in order to monitor that innate explosiveness and their desire to want to be free and take over the world and roam unrestrained. So it's just going to take time and maturity for them to find the appropriate balance between the two. And romantically, hey, these are the type that might even just refuse to settle down altogether, especially when they're younger. Because to be honest, for most of these people right here, that domestic shit just really doesn't appeal to them. And that's because of their restless nature. But, if the right person does come along, I will say that all bets are off, because in all actuality, nobody, and I mean nobody, is more unpredictable than a motherfucker with Saturn and Aries, especially when they're passionate stir. Real talk, man. And, to sum this up for y'all, these are the type of people that are always going to typically prefer to work alone too, because teamwork ain't really their cup of tea either. And it's not because they're not sociable or communicative, but it's more because they know what to expect from themselves. And if there's any issues that pop up, they'll be able to feel confident that they know exactly what it takes to solve it. So on that same kill, they also know that they don't understand what other people's reaction are going to be or how they're going to handle situations. And then if they fuck up, they know that they could get angry, because, it's gonna be with them. It's really going to be better for them to have some type of job where, they work for themselves or where they freelance, so they can work efficiently without that attitude of theirs getting in the way. Okay. Because like I said, this is the epitome of headstrong, man. And, whatever happens, man, I just feel like they got to make sure that they can absolutely never let their self-confidence wane in the slightest bit, because, That's where their biggest issues are going to lie, because that's when they start, holding themselves back and start missing out on life. And that's when them frustrations start building up. And then that's when they start lashing out at motherfuckers. And, that could cause some major issues. So if this is your placement, man, confidence is key. Confidence is key. And, even if you don't believe a word I just said, that's all right. Because, just cause you build like that, it don't mean you have to build like that. And what I mean is, we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self, man. This is the time you should be hitting that like button, because I didn't tell y'all nothing but the truth, the whole truth. And I look pretty good doing it too, didn't I? And either way it goes, you could hit the dislike button too, because the world needs haters. And I'm all right with that. Drop a comment, man. Tell me how you feel. Okay? YouTube is about interaction. I need to get out on this algorithm and talk to more people, man. And only y'all can help me do so. All right. If y'all are interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And the same thing goes if y'all want some merch. But I'm going to tell y'all this, man. I'll sell you all the merch you want, and I want to see you in it. And I love to have your money. But the truth of the matter is, this type of swag that I got, it's got to be in you and not on you. So let me put it in you.